Hello, welcome to the Run to Remember podcast. I'm your host, Kristen Fairs, joined alongside race director Carrie Watkins. This week, Samantha Bentson shares important details about the relay race. Cherith Aven is here chatting about a run club for educators, and News 9 anchor Karl Torp talks about his first experience with the Memorial Marathon last year. Our entire community turns out race weekend, so join us to run, volunteer, or cheer for the 2024 OKC Memorial Marathon the weekend of April 26th through the 28th. Visit okcmarathon.com for the latest information. Carrie.
Tick, tick, the clock is ticking.
We are just a couple weeks out.
I know, it's so fun.
It's hard to believe.
We're back in the Griffin Studios in downtown Oklahoma City. We're about a week away from April 19th, which is really why the reason we run, and everyone's invited to that ceremony on the 19th. Hopefully it's outside. Hopefully we have some beautiful spring weather on April 19th and the following weekend, and so everything's turning.
Yeah.
We got it. There's no rest at this point. We're in go mode.
The 168 banners are starting to go up over the city. And
if you've driven around the city, you start to see those banners from the airport all along the course. I took a spin, and that kind of means it's go time for the marathon. And
right.
It's funny how people would text me or call me after they started seeing the banners and say, "Oh, it's ready.
Yeah,
we're going." And so
time.
it's cool to see. Still time to sign up, though.
Yes, there is.
Go to okcmarathon.com. Don't let anyone tell you can't do it. There's nothing you can't do. So sign up for a race and get in one of them.
That's right. Okay, well, we're going to start off this morning with all things relay, and we've got Samantha Bentson, who's the volunteer chairman of the Memorial Marathon Relay.
Yes.
Perfect place to put a bunch of people who haven't decided what they're going to do together for a relay, right?
Because there's some shorter distances that you could hop in and run, or if your training maybe hasn't gone as you had planned, and that's it. You could find some friends.
12K, 10K.
Yep. I was going to say relay. It's got 5 legs to it. There's 2 5Ks, 2 10Ks, and then a 12K as well.
So you got to put your best person on the 12K.
Put the person who's got that stamina on the 12K.
Okay. So you see a lot on the course. Some organization, some disorganization by these teams just because it's fun and they're just all about it. But tell us really what relayers need to know, that it's very important for them to have a successful race.
Yeah, so on your team, it's really important to know who your team members are. I know you guys, sometimes last minute put things together and it's people, coworkers that maybe you're in a big office and you don't know. But if you can, wear identifying hats, matching hats, or a themed shirt or something, it really helps to kind of know your team member as they're approaching.
Yeah, I hadn't even thought about that somebody might not know who they're getting the handoff from, and it's on them to know.
It's so crowded at those relay points.
And it's really hard. A lot of people, rely on their phones, and it's difficult, when you're running in your crowd and you're trying to find everyone. So if a bright shirt's coming, a bright orange shirt, or whatever the case may be, it's really helpful.
And so let's talk a little bit about those handoff stations, kind of what they look like. So how people get there, just all
runner number one's at the start line.
Yep. So runner number one will start at the start line, and they will run the first 10K, and there's a split at 36 and Walker. At 36 and Walker, the relay runner will go further north to 38th Street, and the exchange happens at 38th and Walker.
So that's for people who like landmarks, where the old First Christian Church was, the egg church, some people called it.
Yep.
It's now leveled, but that property is where the relay is.
Yes, and people can park there. If they park kind of more to the north part of that parking lot, then they can cross the street and walk down the sidewalk there on Walker to get to 38.
Okay.
Yep.
And you'll have some people there helping get across.
There will be volunteers out there to help kind of lead the way. But the biggest part on that one is to make that connection, that you go the correct
that you need to
way.
go a little bit further north.
You're going to go north when all the full and the half are going to turn.
And you do that. You do make the connection in the park there.
Yes.
Okay.
So the first split's at 36 and Walker, but the actual handoff is at 38.
Okay.
Yep. In the park, right there, and it's well marked. You're going to see all sorts of flags.
Lots of
signage.
people.
Yep. Yeah. Absolutely.
Okay. So number 2,
So number 2, then it is a 5K, and they will end up on the Chesapeake campus.
Okay. Good landmark there.
Yep. Mm-hmm. So same thing kind of happens where the relay runners will run one block further north so that there's a big area that they can hand off at, while the full marathoners at that point, because the half has gone a different route. So the full turns and the relayers go straight again. So.
And a lot of people ask, why do you go out of the way? It really is to get the people out of the way, so you're not impeding the full and the half.
Yeah, because it's really a lot of people, and groups kind of they want to take selfies and they want to kind of stop, and if we can kind of get all of that chaos out of the full
Main
marathon
course.
route and stuff, so nobody gets injured, it's really important.
All
Yeah,
right,
very
number
important.
3, leg number 3.
Okay, so then it is to 65th and Independence. So this is the long one.
This is the long one.
Yeah,
This is your strong.
This is the one.
Strong distance runner here.
So then they go to 65th Independence, and there's no veer off the course on this one. It's pretty spread out by this point, but again, it's a big grouping of people, but your handoff happens right there.
So
on
that person
65th.
has run the 12K.
Yep, that person has run the 12K. And then that relay runner will pick up. It's a 5K into Nichols Hills, and at Grand and Sherwood is the next handoff that happens. And then that is the last relay runner that is a 10K to the finish line.
Okay.
Yep.
Now, if a relay team, so we get to the finish line, can a relay team cross the finish line together?
They can. They absolutely can. And a lot of teams love to do that. We love for them to do that. Important things to remember is that everybody has their bib on. They can re-enter the course at Southwest 3rd and Lee, but they need to there'll be a staging area. I think you're going to have some stands, bleachers out where they can wait. And as their teammate approaches, if everybody's got their bib on, then they'll be let in onto the course and they can cross together.
Yeah, the State Fair has loaned us a great portable bleacher. Hopefully it's big enough. But how those cycle, I'm not really sure, but we'll at least have a place. Last year, because we have all these dump trucks that block for safety,
Sure.
people started sitting on those, and that's incredibly dangerous if
Right.
something happened or someone hit. So we're trying to just think of everything safety-wise, and Samantha and her team do a great job of this as well. But we'll put them in some bleachers or stands, and then Randy Swanson and a group of volunteers are there at the gate, and they let them in as they see their folks coming across. You have to have a bib on to be let back in.
So that's
no
important.
exceptions.
Keep your bib on.
Right.
Yep, and that's the only way they're going to get through that finishing corral.
Sure.
If they don't go there, the last team member can still pick up all 5 medals so that everybody gets a medal.
And they can all meet
then
in
they
the
can meet
park.
in the park
Right,
and
right. So
you
it's
know,
not a
enjoy.
requirement.
It's not a
but
requirement.
It's
but
there.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
it's an
And then
opportunity.
let's talk transportation to these drop-off or these, exchange points.
Yep.
Is that available for runners? If
It
so, how
is.
do they find it?
So we're doing bus transportation again this year. So I think the biggest point of confusion. So you will get on a bus downtown to start, and you get on your specific legs, and they're clearly marked. Relay 1, relay 2, relay 3, 4, and then that bus will take you to your leg on the course. Now, what they won't do is move you between legs.
Okay.
They're going to drop you off there, and then whoever's finishing in that spot will get back on a bus, and it'll go back downtown to where, again, they can get off.
First
and-
Church, Fifth and Robinson, right around First Church. And they've got a pancake breakfast going on, so if you're waiting, you can go have a pancake
So the buses just go from start line to one relay point
and back.
Back. Yep. And then start line to
Second
relay
relay
2
point
and back. Yep. Yep.
It'd be
That's
great
always
if
a
we
big
could
thing.
make that work, but the problem is there's too much street already taken by the course. It becomes
Right.
too dangerous to put these big buses on.
It's a difficult day
Yeah.
to get around that part
Anyway.
of the city. So
Right.
add the
So-
bus into
We do
it.
highly encourage runners to ride the buses, though. It's great because, again, there's limited parking at all of these stops, and with road closures, it gets extremely difficult to get there and park because roads close so early in the morning. So riding the buses is great. It's just you got to kind of know ahead of time what's happening.
Right,
with
and that was
it.
my next question about parking. Some of them have parking, some don't.
Yeah. So again, the first one, that area where the Egg Church kind of was known, that parking lot's pretty big, so it's pretty decent there. Chesapeake, they allow us to use the garage, so there is a parking garage there that is available. At the school on Relay 3 at Independence Middle School, there is some parking, but it gets pretty crowded. And then Nichols Hills is probably the most challenging. You can park in like Nichols Hills Plaza and kind of walk in some of those streets. There's no great
Right.
parking area
Right.
at that one, so it
Right.
gets a little chaotic.
So you're adding some tents this year. Talk about where people can go to find information at these
Yeah.
places.
So I think one of the things that happens a lot is when these buses, obviously a bus can't come right where all the runners are. They've got to be, at a major place where they can have space to get through and turn around and whatnot. So sometimes when you finish running, you don't know, like, where's the bus? Where do I get on the bus? I'm in a new spot. So we are putting up these little tents that, I say little, they're not little, but it'll say relay transportation. And we will have volunteers there that will, if you see that relay transportation tent, head to it, and a volunteer will point you in the direction of the buses. They're not far. It's just sometimes you can't see them.
And sometimes they're cycling.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
Right.
The bus might not
You might
not
see
be there.
the bus.
Yeah,
It's coming.
exactly.
What about as a runner finishes? Is there hydration or a snack there
Yep.
for them
There's
as they finish that?
all sorts of things. Yes, we have bottled water. We've got the Powerade. We've got oranges, bananas, Nutter Butters, pretzels. So they will not go hungry or thirsty.
it really is like 4 additional finish lines.
Yeah.
Correct.
And we used to do the medals at those finish lines because sometimes people would get them. And, you know, runners love y'all, but sometimes you're in a zone when you finish and you forget things, and so it just made it easier to bring the medals all downtown to the finish line. But the food, again, Samantha and her team do a great job of making sure they are well nourished and
Right.
fed after they
Yeah.
finish these races.
We increased porta potty numbers
Oh, that's
again,
good.
so you know,
And trash
they're-
cans.
and trash cans.
You're-
Recycle will be there.
You're covering all the things that
all
are
the things that are
important
important.
to runners. Yep.
At that half marathon split, what does a relayer do? Because this seems to be like
Yep.
the
So
big question every year.
yeah. So at the full half split, which happens at 50th and Western, the relayers, and again, it's the relay one runner who has started downtown, will follow the full marathon course signage. So they turn onto Western and head north. So that's a big split.
There's a big arch, and it says full/relay, big, large green arch, like takes up the width of the street. It's hard to miss, but again,
People miss it.
people miss
but
it.
it happens.
It happens. So make sure you follow the marathon course.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And I think that's just important that everybody on the relay team kind of knows what their
Absolutely.
portion of the race looks
Highly
like.
recommend getting out, go drive it. Like, you know, before race day, go look at what you're
So-
going to be
so
doing.
true.
Yeah.
What's your favorite part of the relay?
Honestly, it's just the people, the runners, the crowds that gather around the race. I mean, everybody's in such like high spirits mode. We're doing this for such, you know, a meaningful cause. It's inspiring.
How many years have you done this?
At least 10.
I knew it was-
Wow.
yeah.
It's been a
Yeah.
while.
Yeah. So a decade of her life has been volunteering.
Well, I mean, she's
this.
rattling this off.
I
like
know.
she's an
It
expert.
lives up
Yeah.
here. It lives up here.
It comes out a couple times a year.
Yeah, well, it's a fun part of the race. People really enjoy it, and
Oh my gosh, the relayers add a lot to the finish line. I mean, we talk about,
Yeah.
you know, what the relay, it's logistically, it is very hard.
Hard.
It brings so much fun to the course and the finish line and the teams.
Yeah.
It really does allow people a way to enter into Sunday's races with not being fully prepared for a full or a half.
right.
And so
you might
that's,
not otherwise be able
Yes.
to. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I love seeing them out. I love the matching
And
outfits.
Yes.
Yeah, I was going to say the
silly-
themes
yeah,
and the matching
themes.
and like crossing the finish line
Team
together.
names.
Yeah,
It's fun.
Yes.
It's fun.
and you can beat the Gov. Let's
Yes.
not forget.
Oh,
Oh, that's
It's
true.
all
Yeah.
about
Yeah.
beating
This is
Governor
true.
Stitt.
This is true.
Win
So
that T-shirt.
That's
That's
his
right.
challenge,
Yep.
and that's his challenge, and we want to make sure that we encourage people to try to beat his time.
Yeah.
He's supposedly building a team of all women, so that may be harder than normal,
Harder
but
this
we'll
year.
see.
Yeah,
We'll
those
see.
women. I mean, they're going to be
Yeah,
fast.
we're strong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right.
Absolutely.
Well, thanks, Samantha.
Thank you so
Absolutely.
much.
Thank you guys.
One of the delicious ways the OKC Memorial Marathon sets itself apart is by offering burgers for runners at the finish line. Thanks to the hospitality of the folks at Spark and the Social Order, every race participant who crosses the finish line on Sunday receives a Spark burger, a great reason to run.
Hello, I'm Brian Bogert, founder and CEO of the Social Order Dining Collective. On behalf of our over 500 employees, we are honored to support the Oklahoma City Memorial Marathon. This is such an important event for our community to remember those we lost, those who survived, and those changed forever. We wish all of the hardworking participants the best of luck and can't wait to celebrate you. And for our marathon, relay, and half marathon runners, reward you on Sunday with a delicious Spark Burger at the finish line.
Our next guest is Cherith Aven, an educator who loves to run. She's here to talk about a new organization, the Oklahoma Educators Running Club. Cherith, thanks for joining
Hi,
us.
ladies.
Thanks for
having
being
me.
here.
Yeah,
Very
you
excited.
came all the way from Cleveland, Oklahoma.
Yes, indeed.
That's God's country, by the way.
I thought it might be.
Yeah. And she's actually my brother's boss. So there's two important reasons but she's doing an incredible project for Oklahoma educators, and God knows all of our educators in Oklahoma need some TLC. And so thank you for what you've started.
Well, we're excited because this is an opportunity for us to be in front of the public doing something that we have a common goal. It's fun. And like you said in the last segment, women are strong. We have a few men, and they're rock stars too. But we love to run. We love to be together. And it's I like to say it's a spider web of connections throughout the state. And we're all in these separate places, but we're doing one thing on a regular basis. We're all running in the mornings, and then we come together for a big race to run together. And we just added Del City yesterday, so
Great.
very excited about
so
that.
you and I chatted, I don't know, a couple months ago. You were in town. You came to one of our organizing committee meetings.
Yes, thank you for
And
that.
oh no, it was great. It was great for the folks at the table to visit with you. But your passion really is running, but bringing something for educators to rally around and do on their off time that kind of encourages them and gives them a network.
And it can be a really isolating profession. You're in your classroom all day. You're with children.
Beautiful children.
And that's great, but that's why we do it. But sometimes you're in your classroom all day long and not have any adult interaction. And so this gets us off our little islands and together. And it is a high stress job, especially this time of year. State testing, and they're losing their minds. I'm a middle school assistant principal, so all the things that come with that. So
That's the golden age.
I know.
Middle school.
They're my wonderful
they're the great
weirdos.
kids.
I love them. I love them.
It's something that we sometimes talk about, but just the mental health benefits. You hear so much about the physical
That's the truth.
benefits of running, but the mental health benefits of exercise in
Right.
general, but running and being outside and being alongside other people, just having that sense of community.
I would say that is even more important, that I did start this for physical. We all want to stay in shape, right? And that was the really catalyst, but the mental element,
Right.
you can't buy that.
No.
I've tried.
Yeah.
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 I've been on the Zoloft. That doesn't work as well as getting
Yeah.
out and running.
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah. So, and there's a spiritual element to it too. So all of that together just.
So how many educators will be here running with you think?
So this year we have 5. Next year we'll have 50.
Great.
Wow.
Or more. That's
Yeah.
the goal. And the Samantha talking about the relay. I mean, I'm fired up. And I've done a relay before, and we're going to have some relays next year.
It's exciting to talk
That's
about
excited, yeah.
getting teachers out of the classroom and getting something in their head that it's fun and
That's right.
And as you said, working on their both mental health and physical health, but that makes them better teachers as well.
Absolutely. Yes, we
sure.
go back with our tank full and ready to face those
Refilled.
hard things. Right.
So if a teacher wants to get involved in this, how do they get involved?
So you can find us on social media. We're at Oak Ed Running Club on Instagram. You can email me, Cherith Aven, I think Cherith Aven 2. All I need is an email, and then I reach out and do all the other stuff. We also will be at the Health and Fitness Expo.
Oh, great.
We are very excited to be representing there.
That's
We're
awesome.
expecting at least 20,000 people to roll through there.
That's right.
Yeah.
And I promise 10% of them are probably educators.
Probably so.
Yeah. You'll be able to
That's
catch
incredible.
some people there. What are you running this year?
So I'm doing the half.
Uh-huh.
In 2014, I trained with Kyle Genzer. He lost his mom in the bombing. That was I like to say this. I've run 2 marathons that day, my first and my last. check. So I don't think I'll be going back to the full, but he helped me through that.
Kyle's a principal in neighboring town,
Yes.
Manford.
Yes, he's an educator, and I've done the relay. It was different route. So I think this
Yeah,
is
with the course
yes.
change.
So
Right.
this was several years ago. So my favorite's the half.
Yeah, it's a good distance.
It's
It's manageable.
It's not insane like the
Right.
marathoners.
Well,
but
and especially if you're somebody who's juggling a full-time career.
That's right.
The marathon training it's a big
takes a lot
it's
of
a
work.
big commitment, and it takes a lot of time, and we all realize that. And so I think that having that half distance is a more manageable sometimes if you're trying to find a balance.
It's still a lot.
It's still a lot.
Yeah.
And I know you hear
commitment,
people
but-
say all the time, well, I'm just running the half.
No,
Like,
the half's a big deal.
running 13.1 miles is still
It's a
it's a
long way around the city.
way. It is a long way. Yep.
You got my brother running yet?
Well, we're working on it.
Okay, good luck to you. The best part, I think, about all this is, as we've seen so much, and we won't get political, but the teachers have been assaulted, just by what they do or what they don't do. This gives them an outlet to just come and run,
That's
and
right.
run for a reason, but just to celebrate what they're doing in the classrooms.
That's right, and we're doing it
There's so
together.
much good happening in classrooms. That's why we thought
Yep.
this was something we wanted to get behind, because it was a time to honor teachers. We count on teachers at our place. We're counting on teachers that bring 16, 20,000 kids a year. Cleveland does a great job of bringing kids. A lot of
We
schools
love it.
come and learn the story, and that's the why. It's the why we run. And she had her kids up recently, and
Yeah, I saw that.
I
saw
will
that
plug
Cleveland
that
was
because
there.
there's one thing you can teach it in the classroom, and that's great, and you can put pictures on the whiteboard, but there's nothing like being here. That just gets to these kids at another level. And again, they're middle schoolers. We're too cool. No, they were moved, and I was moved. It's just they need to come.
And I
Come to
heard
the museum.
yesterday on the testing, my sister's a high school educator, that there's a question on the bombing and the
Fantastic, yeah.
memorial on the test. So I
Oh,
think
wow.
maybe the first time we've pushed forward. It's mandated education in
Yeah,
Oklahoma,
we have-
but it takes teachers to make it work. And so
Yeah.
we're big on educators. We're big on
Thank you.
giving
Yeah,
them
you support us.
support and continuing ed and everything they can do to be the best they can do to teach these stories. As we've talked about before, some of our history is hard, and we've got to keep talking about it and facing it and making sure the generation who didn't know it or wasn't born understands how we got here.
Yeah.
So thanks for leading the way for the educators.
I'm excited.
We look
Yeah.
forward
We're
to
off to
seeing
a
you
good
guys
start.
at the expo
I know,
and
I'm
the
excited
finish
to see you
line.
at the
Hey,
Expo.
next year's 25 years,
That's
right?
right.
So
25th anniversary of the marathon
we'll
next
have
year.
a big showing for sure.
Well, good. Well,
Great.
thanks, Cherith.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks.
Partnering with us as the half marathon sponsor is one of Oklahoma City's largest employers, Paycom. In addition to their sponsorship, look for their uniquely themed hydration station near Northwest 31st and Classen.
I'm Tiffany McGowan, and on behalf of Paycom, we're honored to support this year's Oklahoma City Memorial Marathon. This event is a celebration of life and represents the determination, resilience, and decency that is at the heart of every Oklahoman. As a company with Oklahoma roots, we're inspired by your dedication. It's because of you that this is a run to remember. Best of luck to everyone.
Our next guest is News 9 anchor Karl Torp. Karl has a front row seat at the finish line on race day as he broadcasts the race live on News 9 with co-anchor Amanda Taylor. Karl, thanks for being here.
Thank you for having me. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
How's your running going?
I was gonna lie and say it's going great. It's going okay. I've having a little bit of a hamstring issue, but nothing too major. But it's like I don't know. I turned 50 this year, and it's like
Yeah, life
everything's
changes
falling
at
apart.
50.
Yeah, and so
No, see, I thought that's what
but-
happened at 40. You're telling me
Yeah.
it's going to happen
It gets
again
better
at
and
50?
better, let me tell you.
for me, it was like 36, like late 30s, but then like 50 was like a new kind of like, man, I never had like a hamstring pull before. Like, golly. So I'm dealing with it, but yes, I am training. I'm not. I'm going to do the 5K.
Right.
Great.
And
And
so,
I heard you had a special running partner.
Yes, yeah, with my son. So last year, that was his first time ever running a 5K. He's 8 years old at the time last year, and he realized how long a 5K was. But it was great. He wants to do it again. He's fired up again to do it this year. So that's our thing now.
That's awesome.
Which is, yeah, I think that's. And I had no idea it would kind of turn into this. I was like, "Do you want to do this?" He said, "Sure." And I knew he had no idea how far a 5K was. But we had a lot of
It
fun
always
with
seems
it.
further when you're running too.
Right. And you know it is at the start too. You just want to go. And for him, he'd never done anything like that. He thought it was so cool running downtown.
Take off.
And he took off. And I'm like, just hold off. You just got to.
The Wahoo girls told us to start off slow.
Yes. That's a big thing. You don't
Yeah.
want to start off slow.
Right.
He didn't want to start off
Right.
slow. But no, it's a lot of fun. It's kind of like this special time with us, and I'm glad he likes it. I'd probably
incredible.
force him to do it if he didn't want to do it because I knew he'd like. I know he'd like it in the end, but fortunately, he likes it. So.
That's
Well,
great.
that's fun. You get to experience the race as a runner on Saturday, and then you come back on Sunday, and you're at the finish line. So tell us what that was like last year.
Well, last year, to tell you the truth, it was a lot of fun. And I don't want anyone to take this the wrong way. I did not know it was going to be that much fun. News Now is a big deal to be the partner here with the marathon, the media partner, and cover it. And we prepared
Unbelievably.
yeah, and
He really did.
we had crews going out to certain spots in the race just to see where the sun was going to hit. Our call to be at our locations was for us it was 4 a.m. For other crews it was 2 a.m.
Wow.
I mean it was it was so early that it was like I don't know how safe it is just right here at 2 o'clock in the morning, but we know that now. We prepared. I don't want to say we over prepared, but I work with Amanda Taylor, who I think is the most prepared person I've ever worked with in the history of television news. And I caught her watching the LA marathon like weeks before our broadcast.
She really did study very hard.
And I was like, what are you doing? She's like, I'm watching the LA marathon. I'm like, okay, should I be watching the LA marathon too? I mean, it was, but so we were amped up, and of course, we're going to be a little bit nervous, especially the first year. I mean, we were like kind of tense to begin with, but once it got rolling, it was so much fun to cover. And I remember like halfway through it, I'm thinking, we're kicking butt. Like, this is really good. Mm-hmm. This is so good. And I think part of that is having Amanda with Mark Bravo.
Yeah.
He had all kinds of fun.
Yeah,
He's
fun.
great. He's great. So I was just surprised at how much fun it was last year. And I remember Amanda and I were like leaving after the whole thing was done, and we had to go our separate ways. And it was kind of like, well, let's just take a moment here. That was awesome. We did great. Yeah. So we look forward to it. It's going to be a lot more fun this year. And I think we're going to be a lot less nervous from the get-go. But
We've got one under your belt. You know what you're doing.
Yeah.
And you also had very good weather last year. So hopefully we're not challenged by weather. You need to keep rubbing David Payne's head and making sure he's talking to the weather gods.
Well, the first time I did the half was, I can't remember, maybe it was 2014, 15. It was when we had the 2-hour delay.
Yeah.
And we were in the parking garages down here. And I will say that you think that you're going to relax for those 2 hours.
Yeah, you don't.
You think you might sleep down there? Like, no, you're not.
It's the worst.
No, you're amped up.
Yeah,
We're
we
gonna
learned
stay
a
that
lot
way.
from that. So,
Yeah. No.
But the hard thing on those calls is, outside there are 27,000 runners who've prepared months.
Right.
Yeah.
And they've come from all over the country. So just to say the race is canceled did not come easy for me or for any. We were trying to make those calls, and 2 hours probably went a little long. But we were hoping, and we were watching the forecast. But anyway, we learned a lot.
Yeah, no, I think I had such a great experience doing that, and I think the race has evolved since then. The course has changed. There is more of this celebration to it now.
Spirit of the city. And,
Yeah. And I think, I don't know, when do you think that kind of changed or evolved into that?
I mean, there's always been some, but I would say when we changed the course and grew with the city, it allowed us to experience more, to go northeast, to go south on the 5K, to see other parts of the city we typically haven't done. It's hard developing a course because you're worried about churches on Sunday, and there's all these parameters you're working around, and you can't close every street. These are not our streets, and so we have to give them back to the city at a certain point. So all that comes into it, but I think we worked on our cheer zones and our water stops and our entertainment, and then tried to put jazz and deep deuce where kind of jazz was founded in the African American area back, in the early days of Oklahoma City, and to have a gospel choir on the steps of a black church. I mean, those kinds of things brought out community, and I think those communities celebrated that, and I think that began to make the turn for us.
Yeah.
And I think, as I was a participant in the marathon, and now I'm kind of on the other side doing this, I used to think when I was running, it can't get better next year. How are they going to top this? And then every year, it was just a little bit better. And Carrie, you and the team are just so intentional about, just like the things you said, about finding those different parts of Oklahoma City to go into, and never saying, okay, well, this was great, we're just going to keep it. It's like, this was great, what can we do better?
Yeah.
Right.
Still looking for.
And Lynn and I were on the course yesterday as the banners had gone up, and just looking at, so there's a big area, and my daughter taught me this last year. Honest to God, I've driven it, didn't realize how big an area it was. For the half between 50th and Western and Classen, goes uphill, comes down into Jimmy's Egg, and you kind of make that turn onto Classen. And I knew it was there. Never thought about it being a hard area because, you're jazzed up on that. But as you turn into Classen, which is a mental game for all the runners.
Yeah.
No matter where you're headed, half or full.
Right. It's a pretty big area. And so yesterday, I think I drove that street 3 or 4 times, but there's a fun group that wants to do a cheer zone there. And along Classen, I think every block is going to have a cheer zone. Classen has developed on its own with Cleats for Kids and the Asian District, and Oklahoma Land Runners have a group there, and Corey's Audio. There's all these groups along Classen that are really, really kind of livening that space up too. So a lot of it has come from within the community. We've placed them, we've put them where we think it's the right place, but it really is about the people.
Do you guys purposely place people along Classen that say 3 more miles when it's actually like 5 to 6 more miles to the end? Because that's what I do remember when I like 3 more miles, and I'm like, look at my watch going,
no way.
I am, this is an insane pace right now. There's no way.
Well, actually, one of the videos we do with the Wahoo girls, they talked about
The worst signs.
the worst signs of saying you're almost there.
Yep.
Or
Yeah.
I did a half marathon in Seaside, Florida once, and this is the sign I got. My mascara runs faster than you. And so I've always taken that kind of personally, so I'm kind of quiet about how long it is, how much you have to run. But I do think, we are trying to educate. This is a first-time race for so many people, and not everybody knows runner's etiquette. So we did that whole podcast, and then we're doing a first-timers video that we'll release to first-timers, and we'll put it out there for everyone. And it really is runners telling runners the good and the bad. Don't do this, do this, watch for this. And that's something that's been on our list for a couple of years, and we're excited to kind of roll that out. I was just watching it last night. It's in its last cuts. We filmed it here and on the green screen here at News 9, and there's some really hilarious, we had some fun moments doing that. So
it's always fun with the Wahoo girls.
Yeah. So it really is about the community, and you guys have done a great job also as helping us get the community out. And your hour-long special that airs on April 19th. That tells us a lot of the great guts and the stories of this race.
I think the other part of doing this that's so much fun is telling first-time runners, maybe they've never done a race before, what you feel on race day is something you've never felt before. Like even if you're running around your neighborhood, you're getting your mileage up a little bit, and you're not sure if you can take the step to actually do a race. The idea of what you're going to feel there is worth coming out there and just experiencing that. And like, I'm not, I'm only up to 8 miles, but here I am. I can do a half marathon on race day because everyone's out here cheering. Same like a 5K. When I with my son, and the second mile, by the way, he was like hitting the wall. He wanted to stop. And I'm like, listen, this is what I'm talking about. We're gonna run. We can walk a little bit. We're not gonna stop, but we can walk a little bit. But then at the end, I go, okay, go. You have, and he just was like sprinting at the end. I'm like, that's it. That's what you feel. Like you never thought you could do something like that.
And now this year he'll get to run through the real finish line. Last year we kind of did a couple in the park testing to see if we could spread it out. wasn't a good solution. So all races end at the main finish line, Saturday and Sunday. Everybody comes through the main finish line.
Yeah, it's great. I've been telling him we're going to get up to 2 miles at least before our 5K race, and we'll see how it goes.
Got a couple weeks.
We got a couple weeks. So now it's funny because it's a marathon, it's a half marathon, and the 5K is my baby now. Right now. My son's
That's all right.
It's like we're gonna do the best 5K ever. Okay, you ready for this?
Yeah.
So anyway,
You got to start somewhere, and that's the best place to start.
Yeah.
It's a good stepping point.
Well, Karl, thanks for all you do and all News 9's doing. We're happy to have you guys here, and it's fun that you've taken on the 5K with your son. That's something that really a challenge for a lot of parents should try and get out there and exercise with their kid and have some fun.
Yeah, push yourself, sign up, and you won't regret it. By the way, congrats on all 50 states.
Yeah.
Super exciting.
Yeah. So Rhode Island was the last one?
Yep.
Darn Rhode Island. But we found someone, and she's coming in to run, and we're happy to have him. So
That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
it caught some momentum. So we're glad we got that one done.
Thanks, Karl.
Thanks.
All right, thank you.
Yep. We'll see you on race weekend.
Okay.
All right, Carrie. So we have a couple of questions that have come in. A big one that you guys keep getting is when do I have to cut off to register, or when's the cutoff to register for races? What's the answer?
Yeah, the answer is whenever we sell out, and so we can't predict that. All races are good; they're not sold out. They could be before Expo, so don't linger. Prices will go up Expo weekend. So if you can do it, go to okcmarathon.com and get signed up. Pick your race.
And so you are able to sign up at the Expo.
As long as we're not sold out.
Correct. But you are not able to sign up the day of.
No, and there's no. You got to pick
I
up.
just want to spell it all out.
Great point. And you need to pick up your packets at the Expo.
Okay.
And it's a big time race. There's not packet pickup race morning. We're our attention is on the course, taking care of people and safety and all that. So you got to do your part. Sign up, pick up your packet. Plus the Expo, you don't want to miss it. It's great stuff.
No.
Great.
So much fun.
Yeah, great talks. Go to the website. The schedule is already on the website for the talks. Joan Benoit Samuelson will be back. The first female marathon winner in the Olympics. She's bringing her gold medal.
Which is going to be really exciting.
40 years old.
Super
It's
cool.
40 years old this summer. She's bringing it to Oklahoma City. It'll be on display in the Legends booth. Great lineup of legends coming. Connor Holt, who still holds the record for the men's course, 20-year-old record. He and his wife, Camille Heron, will be back. Camille's won a couple of times. Some fun people. But go to the website and check out the schedule. You'll want to come and hear some of these folks talk.
Yeah, it's going to be. We are just gearing up for a fun weekend.
Right.
All together.
Very excited. And next week, we'll have a very special podcast. We'll hear from family member, a survivor, and a first responder, all who were impacted on April 19th. And we felt like it's the week of the anniversary, and it's a time to kind of just pause and let these folks tell our runners why this race is important and why what they do means so much to so many.
Yeah, it'll be a really meaningful special episode.
It really will.
So you won't want to miss that. Yep. Well, that's a wrap for this week's podcast. The Run to Remember Memorial Marathon takes place the weekend of April 26th through the 28th. We want you to catch every episode of the Run to Remember podcast, so please subscribe, and if you like it, share it. Visit okcmarathon.com and follow the Oklahoma City Memorial Marathon on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok for the latest updates. This is your host, Kristen Fairs. Let's marathon.